Hello, everybody. It is, of course, that time of the show that we like to call the Round Table of Terror. Now, you know, there's a whole big difference, I guess, between living the Halloween lifestyle and being a casual fan. You know, everybody's got black T-shirts. Everybody walks around listening to death metal, I'm sure, or goth music and stuff. But, you know, there is that type of person out there that just really lives the Halloween lifestyle. You might call him an extreme fan. You might call him something else. We'll get into that. But we put the call out, and we wanted to find some people who really lived the Halloween lifestyle. I mean, this show is based on our love of Halloween, haunted houses, horror, and the like. And you all know that one guy or that one girl that basically lives that life all the time, year-round. So we kind of wanted to find out what it's like to do that. We put the call out, found a few people who were interested in talking with us that weren't just wallowing around in misery and listening to Sisters of Mercy. So,
or Radio Disney.
Or Radio Disney, depending on how you go.
Choice, yes.
But we got some folks on the line here. We'll start off way up in the great far north with Kyla C., who I believe is in New Brunswick, Canada. Kyla, are you with us?
I am.
Great to have you on here. I understand there's still snow on the ground.
Yes, there's a bit.
We love Canada. Down somewhere where there is absolutely no snow, down in Lakeland, Florida, Daniel Dupke. Are you there, Daniel?
I am. Hello.
Great to have you on the show. The one and only Damien Reaper. Everybody who's ever been to the Dent Schoolhouse in the last few years has probably seen Damien lurking around. Damien, are you with us?
Yes, sir, I am.
Absolutely. Great to have you there in Cincinnati. And down in Plano, Texas, Ed Gannon, no stranger to the haunt industry, is known for very many things and is working with Dark Hour Haunted House, I believe, down there. Ed, are you with us?
That's correct. Yes, thank you.
Glad to have you here, as well as our normal motley crew of hosts, including Storm.
Greetings from New England, where we finally have spring!
What's that?
Yay.
The unknown scare actor.
Hey, I wore shorts this weekend.
Oh, God. You are the scariest one on the panel. The hauntstrumentalist Jerry Vane, way out in the desert Southwest.
It's 102 degrees and 45-mile-an-hour winds.
Fabulous.
Ding, ding, I win.
My name is Drew Badger. I'm in Charlotte. It was a brisk 75 degrees and sunny, and I just worked on my tan all day. So anyway.
Nice.
And you're still pasty white.
Yes, I am. So thank you, guests, for being on the show, talking extreme Halloween fans. I will throw the first question out to no one in particular, so don't all jump in at once. What made you guys decide one day to wake up and say, I'm going to live the Halloween lifestyle all the time?
Don't all jump in at once.
Well, since you're started, Daniel, why don't you lead us off there?
Yeah, I guess it was more gradual, I guess, because I've always liked Halloween, and then been in the horror movies and that kind of thing. And in 2008, my brother came to me and wanted to do a haunted house. We wanted to build one in his backyard, and we did a whole big thing, and it was the first one we'd ever done. And we didn't know there were other people like this, you know. And we just really got into it, and the neighbors were asking for it the next year, and that's kind of where it began to progress with me.
Were you that guy in school?
I was probably some guy, but I wasn't that guy. Just another weird kid in school, yeah.
How about you, Ed? You've been in this business a while.
Yes.
Tog, the other guy. Yeah, well, I guess it was more gradual for me, too. When I was a kid, loved anything to do with monsters and, design modules for Dungeons & Dragons, whatever, Geek Alert. But I had a lot of social things, too, and that's all well and good. And then I got into special effects makeup, and I didn't know you could do it for a living. So a haunted house opened up with Rich Hanf, and it was his first haunt as well. And I partnered up with him, and we started doing the Haunted Castle in Hamburg, New Jersey. That was back in '92, I believe. And we did it for that October, and it progressed from there. And then in '96, Spooky World was going to redo their entire thing. They were America's Horror theme park up in Berlin, Massachusetts, and so they had hired Rich, who brought me in as well, and they were going to redo their entire hayride and do 2 new haunted houses, and with a 3 total. And they were the biggest standalone haunted attraction at the time, and so we were up there, and then from then on, I quit my job and was up with them most of the year, and kind of never went back. We got some part-time jobs in between, and then it was for the next 10 years, it was full-time Halloween year-round, and that was pretty miraculous.
And you've been doing it over 20 years now.
Close to 30, yeah.
Close to 30. Wow. So you're not just some new person to this industry. You know, your name has been associated around for a long, long time.
Long time, pretty much every aspect.
Cool. Kyla, how about you?
I guess it was kind of gradual after a while, but what ended up happening was I got very tired of seeing people have a lot of Christmas stuff up a lot of the time. So what I ended up doing was just decorating for Halloween all the time. Like, for right now, I have up my Halloween tree out in the living room that's always lit up with my skulls. My car has a dressed up Batman or other character in the back seat at all times.
Oh, how cool is
It's
that?
nothing to see me. It's nothing to see me go to work with my fangs in the middle of February just because I feel like it. And my house always has mummy eyes looking out at you from most of the windows. So
that's nice. I like that. That's more hardcore than me and my black t-shirt. Wow. Damien, I don't think I've ever seen you not sort of in character at one point or another. How did you get started in this?
Oh lordy. Well, I'll start off with saying that my dad is a horror Halloween junkie and my mom is a heavy metal chick. So it started off with those two kind of teaching me through the years, and starting off for Dungeon of Delhi in 1998, and then going to the Dent Schoolhouse in 2006, 2007, and progressing to join up in a traveling acting thing called Mall. So all through those years, I took my childhood being a fan of Kiss, Alice Cooper, and Undertaker, and made it into a character called Damien Reaper, and it just progressed through those years.
I can definitely see the Undertaker influence in that.
Yes.
I believe I saw you. I think I saw you first in like 2008 at Dent, and of course you had a big shovel out in the garden and all that. So yeah, absolutely, I can see that. So that's really cool. Gentlemen, I open the floor to questions.
Okay, a question for everybody, and what I'll do is I'll just throw out the question and I'll ask a particular name so not everybody jumps in. But what basically entails a typical day for some of you? And we're going to start, since I'm kind of intrigued by Kyla's choice of decorations. Let's start with her.
Well, first it's Starbucks, and then she goes to...
no, up here it's Tim Hortons. You go there first, and
Come
then
on,
usually
Jerry, it's Canada.
they take a second glance, usually at my character that's dressed in the back seat, and the bats that are hanging from my ceiling of my car. I go to work, and I change my block for my Halloween countdown that's up all year round. And usually I have on a pair of my Halloween socks, which are also year round. I have one for every day of the month. I come home and check out some new Spooky Town elements for the Limax collection. Make sure that mine are still okay after my 4 cats have probably been through my town. And then that's pretty much all it for my Halloween for that day, except for listening to my Halloween playlist at work. Or, of course, the podcast.
Okay.
Good plug.
How about you, Ed?
Normally I get up and get into my hearse, which is my daily driver for the last 5 years, except it just died before I came down here to Texas. So, and then I go to work making incredibly awesome, scary designs and machines that scare people, and set design and all that wonderful things, and working on some a redesign of an Axe-worthy mechanism now for Dark Hour, and so that's pretty cool. Pretty much every discipline you could think of: carpentry, electrical, electronics, welding. I mean, you name it. Along, resins and plastics and all the fun stuff we like to dirty our clothes up with, which are usually black. And then while I'm doing that, I usually listen to what I delightfully call Ed's crappy Halloween music, which is I have one of the largest selections of I think Jerry might have heard some of it. One of the largest selections of Halloween genre and soundtrack music around. So stuff from everything from the 30s and 40s all the way up to the 60s and 70s and Zachary and all that wacky stuff. Zachary and murder dolls and all that stuff. So all kinds of fun stuff and the popular stuff too. But it's all different, so at least nobody gets too sick of it. And then if you don't like that song, a better one will come on, or a worse one, which we can all make fun of. And and then the day ends usually around the anywhere from the 8 to 15-hour mark, and we go and get some horrible for you food, or I'll cook something delicious and watch some kind of horror genre show and pass out and do it all again tomorrow. Unless, of course, we go out and then it's karaoke and fun ensues. But other than that, that's a pretty standard day.
How horrifying is the karaoke?
Actually, I like to think I'm pretty good, but depends where you go. Some of the people down here are pretty decent, actually, I have to say.
Nice.
How about you, Daniel?
Well, once I get up, I've got the house decorated pretty much year round too, kind of like Kyla. I have about a 7-foot shelf that's covered in props I make, which are just all bloody body parts and bones and feet and stuff. And there's, from where I'm sitting, I can see 2 torsos, 4 different skulls, some more feet and bones that have yet to be painted. 6 UFO pictures on the wall behind me, and then I have a Krampus stocking from Christmas that just stays up year round. Nice. And a big hanging skeleton. I don't know. I think they're called creeper props, and he hangs in the doorway leading to the kitchen year round. I used to have him when I lived in an apartment. It's kind of hard to do a haunt or anything in an apartment, but I would put him on the front door one year for Halloween, and just after a while, just being lazy, never took him down. So what I started doing was I named him Rufus, and I would decorate him for each upcoming holiday. Like for Christmas, I put a Santa hat on him. St. Patrick's Day, he had a light up shamrock necklace, and what was it? What I gave him for Valentine's Day, he had a box of chocolates and a rose. So he was on my apartment, but now he's in the house, and I'm usually outside making props or working on something for either my haunt or for the little Etsy store I have, and just making stuff like that. And obviously watch a lot of horror movies and Face Off and Jim Henson show, the new one. I like that. Watch a lot of stuff like that with my girlfriend, and just a weird guy.
I think Daniel just made it official that every haunt has a prop nicknamed Rufus.
Oh yeah,
we have one called Rumpus.
And let's wind up with Damien. How about you, Damien?
When I wake up, I usually groan because my back hurts.
Welcome to middle age.
Left that part out.
Yeah, I have all my haunted house stuff through the years. I got Granny's panties right next to a head that Tater made of Frankenstein right next to it. I have some newspaper clippings, stuff that I've done through the years, and a whole bunch of stuff. I got a beer bottle with the Big Scary Show, and right next to it is me as a priest on another beer bottle.
Those two things are unrelated, right?
Right.
Okay.
And usually I have 2 little chihuahuas that's usually on the bed with me, so they're jumping all over my face, and I go on Facebook, and I always had to talk something, Damien related or haunted house related, or just complain. and I start either writing some type of story or some type of song lyrics and or artwork. Everything is either Damien Reaper related or Haunted House related. It has to be, because I've just been doing that for years, and go upstairs and find something to nibble on and go out with buddies, and we're always talking about horror or haunted house or sci-fi. I've been really into Doctor Who a lot lately, so basically I do that every single day, unless somebody invites me over to any type of meetings or some type, everything all day long is haunted house related.
Okay.
Now, Daniel, what you said a moment ago intrigued me, where you said you'd put a Santa hat on some of your props and stuff like that. When other when other holidays come around, do you guys put a Halloween spin on your stuff, like Christmas, or like you said, St. Patrick's Day or anything? Do you do a Halloween version of Valentine's Day or 4th of July or anything like that?
Yeah, we do actually.
Yeah.
Our oh, I'm sorry. Were you asking me?
I'm asking all of you.
Oh, okay. You go ahead.
Go, Dan, go.
Yeah, for our Christmas tree, we actually have a lot of Halloween horror type stuff on that. They got a couple axes, and there's skeletons that my girlfriend and she put little dresses and dressed them up and made them into little characters. They're on the tree, and most of what aren't from dead relatives are just black ornaments or the skeletons and stuff like that. Other holidays don't really do too much for anyway, so. But the Christmas tree definitely gets mostly Halloweened up. And
I heard a couple of you agreeing with them. What about the rest of you?
I also have. I've been collecting ornaments like that, Hallmark or whatever, for a long time. They've got a lot of crossover, serials that match our taste, between Harry Potter and Star Wars and all that stuff. So, but I've got them from glass ornaments from Europe of the Phantom of the Opera and things like that. And I've got a big Halloween tree, and that's all well and good for Yule or whatever. And then also on my hearse, I used to have a Black Widow on the top, and I would I'd put Santa hats on for Christmas and chili peppers for Cinco de Mayo. I mean, you name it. It was pretty funny, and so people thought I was an exterminator for a long time. They didn't really get it, but so then I had a magnetic sticker put on it because I do a lot of handyman work off season, or used to, and it was vampire maintenance because there just aren't enough hours in the day. And I had a cartoon vampire guy with a paint roller in one hand and a wrench in the other, and so people then they kind of understood. So that was pretty funny. But at dark hour, it is pretty funny. People come out and get their pictures with it and stuff. And so at dark hour though, we do basically 8 shows a year. A show every month for most holidays. So we did Wreck the Halls for Yule with Krampuses, and then we did Love Is Blind for Valentine's, and that was a blackout show. And then we did St. Patty's Sleigh Weekend, for that one, and we just did Walpurgisnacht, which is the first day of May. So that went over really well. That was a musical, and we're doing a couple other different holidays that are coming down before we take a break and get ready to open it for September for our major show. But yeah, all the holidays have some kind of little twist to them. But my house isn't inundated with it because it's all in my head.
Damien, I can only imagine. Or go ahead.
No, go ahead, man.
I was going to say, Damien, I can only imagine how your Christmases and Easters and other things are.
Well, I mean, we don't really put up a tree anymore. I don't think we've had a tree up for like 5 years, so we can't really. I think it's still sitting back in the shed. Cause, we have a pit bull that likes to run all around the place, and that's all we need is the tree knocking right through the window. But I mean, my Halloween stuff is up all the time in my room. I don't think I get into the Christmas spirit, but there has to be a twist with it. I'll wear my, Damien Reaper outfit with the Santa Claus hat, doing a video on YouTube. you know.
How about you, Kyla? What about you? What do you do for holidays?
That would be a large black Christmas tree, all done up with Nightmare Before Christmas stuff, along with some other gory items whatever I can find. Usually they're like done over earrings that I found that were battle axes or swords or beheaded monsters and stuff. They were all up there. I don't really celebrate many other holidays though. Just basically Christmas and Halloween.
There is only one holiday. The rest are just filler.
Mm-hmm.
Well, see, at Christmas you can get
The rest are
presents
just fill-ins.
for Halloween. So
Yeah.
You can always do Krampus.
yeah, there is.
That is true.
It's when you get the
everything's always like decorated most of the year anyway, so it just covers all holidays. Halloween is just every day. Just Christmas happens to come in sometimes. That's about it.
Gotcha.
Well, speaking of that, with the decorations and everything, how expensive is it for you guys to keep a lifestyle like that?
Not too terribly expensive. Most of the stuff we buy comes from Home Depot, right? So
Doesn't everything?
yeah.
Do you have Home Depot in Canada?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, we do.
Okay.
Oh.
I can only imagine you hit the shops every November 1st or 2nd and take advantage of a year's worth of shopping.
Oh yeah. Up here it's Canadian Tire. You just go up and you just wipe them out. 75% off. You go up and you just take everything. Yep.
Wiped them out. Heard the Canadian there. It's pretty good. I like that.
Wait
The,
How much is 75% off in metric?
Oh, you're funny. Dancing
That was
leprechaun.
good.
Yeah.
that's good. Anyway,
Coming from a leprechaun.
to answer your question, Jerry, on my end at least, year round keeping into it. Most my work uniform is black Dickies shirt and pants with work boots. So most of the time I'm working doing Halloween stuff. So that end of it's pretty easy. When I go out, I like dress up whatever, and that's easy too. As far as the other stuff goes, keeping the hearse up is the biggest expense because if you've ever had one, they're always breaking down, and every one of them is built custom. So there's always something you got to do to it. But other than that, your significant other's my other biggest expense. But the Halloween stuff is pretty much in line, because again, I'm not one of these people. I literally live the lifestyle and live and breathe it, whatever. But I don't need to shove it down everyone's throat, so to speak. So my thing is, in the back of my window right now, I've got a skull with glow in dark eyes. No big deal, whatever. But doesn't everyone? But and I make these skeleton hula dancers for my dashboard and whatever, and people love that. But other than that, the other stuff is mostly inside. It's mostly very tasteful Art Deco kind of stuff.
I do have some flashing eyes in the back window of my station wagon. So, just flip the little button and they flash on and off. So it's nice driving around town at night. You always get a few looks.
Yeah, but you
Damien?
get a few looks just everywhere you go. So
Exactly.
Well, a lot of my stuff is just stuff that I accumulated through the years. If something new comes around, it's usually given to me, or only thing I try to get is a lot of makeup because I always seem to run out. And all my costumes are hung up, ready to go at any time. So
I guess that's true for me too. Yeah, a lot of the stuff is all I would say it's work related, but I guess it's Halloween, so it's a little crossover there. But yeah, things like keeping up my makeup kit in tip top shape, and different things you need for costume, wear items, things like that. So I guess if you add that in, I guess things do get a little expensive.
I know Jerry panics every time his guy liner gets low.
I tend to go through perma blood pretty quickly.
when's the last time you saw me wear that? Seriously.
When was the last time I saw you? MHC
I
costume
didn't have it
ball?
on at MHC.
Yeah, but it was costume ball. You can't count that.
You were wearing.
I didn't have.
That's fair.
I didn't have it on MHC because I had an eye.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
I like the new too, by the way, Jerry. Looking pretty good, dude.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyway, back to the conversation about Drew's guy liner.
But anyway, we'll take this Jerry Vane Love Fest take a quick break from that. Just to remind everybody, you are listening to the Round Table of Terror here on the Big Scary Show, talking extreme Halloween fans with Kyla, Daniel, Damien, and Ed, along with the four hosts. We're going to take a quick break just to pay some bills, and we'll be right back. And we're back to the Round Table of Terror, talking with some extreme Halloween fans living the lifestyle 24/7, 365 with Ed Gannon, Damian Reaper, Daniel Dupke, and Kyla C. from all over the U.S. and Canada, along with the four hosts. And we've just been having a lovely, lively discussion. And during the break, the question was asked, do any of you guys work at haunts? And I know the answer to a couple of them, but Ed, how about you? We know your story.
Yeah. So I've been doing professional haunting for almost 30 years now, and all over New England, Salem, Mass, New Jersey, Massachusetts, and now down in Texas, Plano, Texas, for a place called Dark Hour Haunted House, which is pretty much on the highest end of the scale you can get, technically and scenically. So it's definitely something you're going to be hearing of if you haven't already. So I'm very excited about that. Working with Alan Hops up there, we're kicking some Haunt A, and I'm loving that.
You'll get a chance to plug it at the end of the podcast, Ed.
Sorry.
Blame him.
We just had a show last night, so it's kind of, still on.
How about you, Daniel? How about any kind of haunt-related type work that you do?
Actually, no. I'm just. I guess I'm the only home haunter in here, other than my businesses that I won't plug yet. I guess I'm the only home haunter down here.
Damn.
Hey, we love home haunters. We've done roundtables on home haunting before, so it's great to have you guys out there because you're the ones that'll make that jump in a few years to the professional level. We hope.
How you start?
You could be the next Victor Bartow.
There you go.
Good movie.
Damien, you've had a long, storied haunt career. What have you been up to?
Well, at the moment, I'm with the group Mall, which is a traveling acting organization that, if a haunted house needs a couple actors that specialize in different type of talents, they can get a hold of actually Jim, and we go out and tour, basically.
Nice.
In the past, I basically stayed at dungeons for Dungeon of Delhi for about 9 years. Then the last 7 to 8 years with the Dent Schoolhouse. So this is just a new avenue for me. So I'm excited for it.
Sounds like fun. Kyla, any haunts up there near you in New Brunswick, or do you just frequent them or get a chance to, or what?
Well, this is the first year I've had a yard, so I do have plans, but I haven't been able to actually hold one yet. But I do go to the ones that are local. The most local will probably be the big one at Moncton at the zoo. So that's about it, though.
What is that?
It's not really like a big thing.
Is
It's
that
where
an
you walk through the zoo and then actors come out with different things. That's about it.
Oh, very nice. Is there is this an actual zoo then? It's not just called the zoo.
No, it's not just called the zoo.
Oh,
it's
okay.
an
So
actual
there
zoo.
are actual lions, tigers, bears, oh my, and all that. Cool.
Yes.
I don't think I've ever heard of a haunted zoo before. That's kind of a neat concept.
They do one down here in Tampa.
Do they?
Yeah, it's more for
The Busch Gardens or?
No, it's at the Lowry Park Zoo.
Oh, okay.
It's called the Zoo Boo. It's more geared towards little kids, I think. But
So they don't have a man-eating polar bear at that show?
not on purpose.
Out here in Vegas, they call it the mall.
Don't say with a name like Zoo Boo, it's probably not for adults.
Yeah, no.
Boo, B-U-O-O, nothing else.
Oh, sure.
I know, ruin it for you. I'm sorry. Cricket.
Yeah, crickets.
We'll edit.
Well, actually, turn the conversation a little bit to the serious side, and where you guys probably have the most insight, and what something that affects everyone in the haunted attraction industry at one point, and that's haunt burnout. How do you guys fight that off? What have you come across with it? Daniel, how about you first? What have you experienced with haunt burnout and preventing that?
Just like I have that tendency to get kind of burnt out on once I get into something, I'll really go at it for a while, and I guess I'm prone to the burnout thing. So I like to write. I write. It's not completely non-haunt, I guess, because it's pretty generally graphic, gory type stuff. But I'll write short stories or work out, go to the gym, stuff like just something that I'll try to get my head away from it and not look at Facebook and all the haunt groups and just decompress for a day or two, I guess.
Cool. What about you, Damien?
Well, I usually, keep going with the haunt stuff. The times, where I don't think of haunted house, sometimes I'll watch TV. For some strange reason, I'll sit there and watch Nickelodeon and watch SpongeBob SquarePants and Sam and Cat and a whole bunch of old, those type of stuff, just to get away from any type of horror thing, just to get my mind. Yeah. But other than that, it's always Halloween for me. I mean.
And what about you, Kyla?
Well, I work 48 hours a week, so when I'm at work, it's not really Halloween time. And if outside of that, I don't always connect with Halloween, I tend to go into my comic-related hobbies. So that's always there as well. And I play a lot of games, like board games and stuff, and have a couple committees that I'm on for that.
Awesome. And Ed, how about insight from you for fighting off the haunt burnout?
Well, I guess the funny thing is I don't technically get burnt out, even though I'm working, sometimes 120 hours a week or whatever, some ridiculous thing like that. There's so many aspects to what we do. If you feel yourself getting frustrated with one thing, you can just roll it over to another thing. When I was running Spooky World and I was working with Mr. Storm there, we had so many different things to do besides designing and building, and then there's costuming, and then there was the website, and there's music and soundtracks and lighting. There's all different disciplines, and for me, it's like going to another job. And once you switch over to another job, put on a different hat, so to speak, it's kind of like you let the elder one go a little bit, and a lot of that tension kind of sits there at the desk with the hat. So you just shift things around. But I like a lot of other things too. There's no end to being busy. But if I want to just veg out and watch, I don't know, some animated feature or something, or it doesn't have to be a horror related thing or sci-fi or whatever is a big genre of mine. There's things to do to decompress. And then of course, if you're lucky enough to be done on time where you can actually hang out with other human beings, it's not in the middle of the night, because a lot of times we work until we can't really do much anymore, and then by the time if you do get a second or third wind, it's too late to go anywhere. So. But there's always something to do to shift it, and I guess that's the key to it for me, is shifting it from one mindset to another. So if I am getting frustrated with one aspect of it, I learned from my dad, who was a mechanic his whole life, just put it down and walk on to something else for a few, and then you come back to it, and believe it or not, usually I find there's a whole new perspective, and it's mine. So that works out.
Do you have a favorite part that you like to do?
Who, me?
Or anybody about it?
For me, I guess the favorite part is thinking of a concept or a scare or a design or a mechanism, and then making that something physical. You're bringing it out of your head into the real world, and then seeing it actually do what it's supposed to do. So if it's like a pop open staircase, I did for these people in New Hampshire, and you get it, you build it, works great, and you see people go by and they didn't see it coming, and you scare them, you put them on the floor. There's no better feeling than that. I mean, not just the scaring people, put them on the floor, but making something out of your head and then seeing it come to life and work. I think that's magical.
I completely agree that had I answered first, that probably would have been my answer. Just being able to make what you thought of. I really can't add to what he said.
What about you, Damon?
Okay. Yeah. Damon.
My favorite part is talking to people like you guys. I mean, I get the honor of being with the best in our industry all the time, and I'm just a goofy guy calling people meat bags all day, and and the passion of wanting to go to different levels of haunting, and I've done like little videos on YouTube and trying to make movies and trying to see where I can take the character. I would love to do music. I would like to do a Damien Reaper musical. I can do that. I think that'd be hilarious.
Oh, sweet. I can go see that. Absolutely.
Damien the Reaper Chronicles.
I think everyone toys with the musical idea. I've wanted a choreographed number with 13 chainsaw-wielding maniacs. I think, Jerry, you need to take the questions now.
You don't want to do the biography of Hank Travis on Broadway?
No, Hank Travis in Vegas.
That's a whole nother obsession.
All right, well, I got one more question for you guys. Given your love for everything Halloween and your lifestyle, how does your families and your coworkers, your neighbors, and your friends and everybody react to your obsession/love for Halloween? And let's start with Daniel on this one.
Okay. Actually, really well. All my girlfriend is completely okay with obviously the way the house looks, and some of the stuff in here is from her. And my family has always been really cool about it. I remember back years ago, my father got me it was a wig head just because he thought I would enjoy a severed head, and I think I was in high school. He's like, I found this, I thought you'd like it. And they still, for Christmas last year, I got perma blood and for my brother, and so all my friends know me. I'm like, we are all on Facebook and Twitter a lot, and I get the Halloween pictures and the horror pictures from people because I'm that guy for a lot of my friends. So, which probably you guys are too. And
cool.
Yeah.
Okay, Kyla, what about you?
Most of my family's pretty accepting, although some just think it's going to be something that I'll grow out of. However, it's been about, 16 years, so that's quite a long time for a phase. Otherwise, at work, they kind of just let me do my own thing, as long as it doesn't affect anybody else's desk, but you can definitely see where I sit. It's the only one with cobwebs, so...
Nice.
And yeah,
we thought it was just the cleaning crew did a cruddy job.
You're too scared to go clean it.
But yeah, otherwise it's just pretty standard. I don't really have anybody that says much anymore. I've been at work for a while. They all know who I am. I am also that person for Halloween stuff.
You're that person.
That's kind of how it goes.
I think we all are.
Yeah.
Okay, Ed, what about you?
Well, I would say that I've been pretty lucky, and that most people they realize that I'm more on the professional end of it. Certainly, how I deal with it, even if it might not be professional. But the biggest problem I think was the hearse. Everyone thinks it's cool until it's parked in front of your driveway. So for part-time work and whatever, I was bartender for many years, and you pull up in that, and even though it holds the entire bar, they want you to park around back, and there's all these different things, and so that's one part of it. And then another would be likewise, kind of my family, for many years, even though they came up and saw Spooky World and were very impressed, was like, when are you going to grow out of this and get a regular job? And I'm like, well, this is my regular job. I was born to do this, and every discipline I've ever learned has been into this, and that this is who I am, is what I do, and they're well aware of that, and they accept that, they love that. It's just that they can't see the longevity of it. So it's I've been proving them wrong for almost 30 years, and that's a pretty good hobby to have.
Still a phase.
I was going to say they can't see the longevity. Let's think about this for a second.
Grow out of it.
Right.
Have
any of you ever been?
I think it's past. Yeah. I think it's past the phase part.
Yeah, right.
Have any of you had the family threaten you with eternal damnation or anything like that?
No, it was the other way around.
Yes, but it's unrelated.
That's another story right there.
You took my Halloween M&Ms. Die.
I'm a Unitarian minister, so that really wouldn't work for me. But anyway.
Okay, well then just go to heaven and
right. I'll find that way. Thanks.
So does that mean that the hearse is always parked at your church?
I don't think it's at a church.
Oh, good.
That would be a different kind of show.
That'd be a different kind of job then. Okay, Damien, what about you?
Oh yeah. Well, my parents have always been very supportive. My dad used to do the haunted house scene before I was even born. So, but a lot of, a couple family members, or one in particular, really hates. He doesn't understand, who I am. I've always been understanding who he is, but I've had a friend before, getting on my case about it, especially the Damien Reaper thing. But sometimes it would get to me. Sometimes I would go back to my mentality, going, "This is who I am. Take it or leave it. I'm Damien Reaper until I go to the next world, and probably will be dressed up in a costume wherever that is."
Bela Lugosi was buried in his cape, so I could see Damien buried in full Reaper outfit. That'd be awesome.
I'll be having it in my will soon.
Nice.
I believe that.
It does look like the clock on the wall is threatening to end this, so let's wrap it up with one last question. And that would be conventions. We're right in the middle of convention season. Do you guys get your fix on going to conventions, horror conventions or haunt conventions like MHC or Transworld? And if so, do you go to like paranormal type cons? Do you just go to horror cons? Do you do the sci-fi? Do you cosplay? And if you do, what conventions do you normally try to frequent? How about Kyla? What you got up in Canada?
Well, we do have some haunt conventions. We have the Canadian one, but I missed it for this year, but next year I am going. Usually I end up at the Fan Expo in Toronto, which covers just about everything. It has horror, anime, action, video game, whatever you can name.
I hear that's
and
enormous.
usually, yes, it is. It's completely amazingly awesome. That's where I get all my Elvira t-shirts and other haunt-related memorabilia.
I've seen
so it's
some
pretty
lineups.
wicked.
Those are that has a stellar lineup. At least last year's. I haven't seen this year's website, but wow.
Yeah, it's usually pretty awesome. So that's where I like going, and hopefully I'll get down to the New York Comic Con at some point, since it's only 10 hours away instead of 15.
Only 10. Jeez.
Yeah.
That's 5 hours out.
That's 1 hour in Canada, right?
Yeah. What is that in Canadian hours?
Metric.
Metric.
Damien, I know you go to Midwest every year. Anything
Yep.
else? Scarefest or any of the other ones in the local area? Horror Hound, or what do you get out to?
I've been to Horror Hound a couple times. Got to meet Sid Haig and Kane Hodder. But mostly I just this will be my 7th year at Midwest, and I went to Transworld one time, loved it. I went with the great Telfor Knight, and I will like to go there more, but it's just money right now. But Midwest is home to me, so.
Nice. We'll see you there in June. I take it. So.
Yep, I'll be hobbling around.
Awesome. Ed, you got plans on going to Midwest, or do you frequent the others?
Oh yeah, usually I'm a speaker at a lot of the conventions for the haunt end of it. So I was with Transworld from the beginning of their haunt ones, and this is the first one I've been back to in a long time. And speaking at that one, I'll be doing that at MHC as well. And MHC is definitely one of my favorites. It's certainly one of the most fun conventions. For the haunt community. Outside of that, I go to sci-fi ones and some cosplay ones, and Aresia in Boston I used to go to, and Chiller Theater in New Jersey, which is a pretty amazing lineup. A lot of the same people they have up at that Canada show, actually. Some pretty awesome stuff along with Zachary and those guys. And then Zachary! And then yes.
He sounds like Dr. Smith from Lost in Space.
Yeah, he does a little bit, yeah. So it's pretty funny. But all those kind of things, So I don't get to go to the West Coast so much because it's just so far away.
Sure.
But so we'll see how it goes. I can't wait for MAC this year. It ought to be pretty awesome.
Did you make it to either of the last two haunt cons, which were both in Texas?
The funny thing is, we were so busy getting ready to open this season that even though it was right down a couple hours away, I couldn't go to it.
That's a shame.
Hey Ed, are you going to have your booth this year at MHC?
That's still undetermined because, off the record, that there used to be a whole thing where I'd speak and they'd give me a booth and whatever. So now it's still a little different thing. So I'm still trying to work that out. I'm probably going to be, for the last couple of shows, I've been partnering up with Alan Hops and his booth. So we're kind of partners, in that, have been for a couple of years. So, but we usually have a separate booth. So this year we may be sharing a booth. So I might be with Still Beast Studios. So Something Wicked Productions will be with Still Beast.
Nice. We'll look for it.
Well, that's what I'm. So if you mentioned your Halloween archives of music and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
that's the booth you got to check out if you want to pick up stuff like that. Lord knows I've spent enough money there.
Yeah, right.
Oh my God! Between T-shirts and CDs, somebody shoot me.
I'm with you, brother. Yeah, anything new like that, I get myself. That's my weakness.
And last but certainly not least, how about you, Daniel?
Yeah, my brother and I try to make it to Spooky Empire every year in October, and then when they do the Mayhem show, in May, we go to that one. We're going to be going this year. Went to the last MegaCon in Orlando, and supposed to be going to the Tampa Bay Comic Con, and been to Tattoo Fest a couple times out in Tampa too. But
did you
mostly try to stick to the.
Did you make it to Halloween Extreme last year? That was tied in with Mayhem.
Yeah, I was there.
That was a fun show, and they'll be back in 2015, so maybe we'll see you there.
Yeah, you guys were there last year, right?
Yes.
So I'm looking forward to next year when they're all back and everything. We were kind of bummed that they could. I understand why they couldn't this year, of course, but
they were a little busy with
other little bigger things
just
to mess with.
Just a wee bit, sure. But anyway, looking at the clock on the wall, we apparently, unfortunately, have to start wrapping this up. So this is the part of the show that we affectionately like to call the plugs. Give you a chance to plug all your various haunt ventures. Damien, let's start with you. What kind of cool stuff have you got going on, either appearances or plug mall or anything like that?
Yeah, I'll plug mall. Go on Facebook, type in mall traveling, and it should pop up, or go to the Unknown Scare Actors Facebook page, and you can probably find it there.
This is like mall, not in like a collection of shops, but mall like Darth Maul, correct?
Yes, MAUL. And I have DamienReaper.com. That's pretty much about it. I mean,
sweet. We'll start looking for you. Ed, how about yourself?
Well, I unfortunately have probably already done a lot of it, but I'll be down at
We're not
I'll be
judging.
at thank you, I appreciate it. Dark Hour Haunted House in Plano, Texas, right above Dallas. So if you're in the area, you owe it yourself to check it out. It's pretty freaking amazing. Great talented group of people there. Something Wicked Productions, my personal company, will be at MHC along with Still Beast Studios. Alan Hops and his company be there, and actually I may have my vampire lounge singer character Buddy Blood may be doing a number on stage there. We'll see how that works out. So that'll be entertaining, and there's always some fun stuff going on with that.
Nice. Daniel.
Yeah.
What you got?
Plug
away.
All right. I co-own a company called Haunt Life with my brother Sean, and it's an apparel, a very, very small currently apparel and merchandise company for fellow haunters and horror and Halloween fans, just as a way to represent, our strange and our weird hobby that we have and weird lifestyle. And also, I make really bloody, gory-looking props. If you feel like heading on over to Etsy, I have a shop called Stabbing House, and
nice name.
Thank you.
Nice, right? Do you have a knife collection, Dan?
If by collection you mean just a bunch of them randomly laid around in different places, yes.
Great.
You never know when a burglar's going to pop in.
And you never know. And in a struggle, you could fall here or over here. You want to have a knife just laying around,
I keep my knife collection under my pillow.
There's bears in Florida. You never know.
See?
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off
here,
Dan.
Does Haunt Life have a website?
Yeah, it's just www.hauntlife.com, and then we have Facebook, Haunt Life LLC, and we're also on Twitter at Haunt Life LLC also.
Very nice. I have been on that site, and I have seen some pretty cool stuff, so I recommend you go to Haunt Life and check out their cool stuff. And Kyla, what have you got? What's going on that you can promote, plug, or otherwise?
Alas, I am plugless.
You can tell people where they can come to your home haunt this
Say I'm
year.
not buying that.
Modern wireless.
I guess I do participate in the pumpkin raffle for our local SPCA every year. You can always look that up for the French SPCA on Facebook. All of the pumpkins are always listed there.
Nice. Do you carve, collect, or otherwise participate? How?
I always carve. Always. At least one.
You should come down to some of the conventions in the States that have these pumpkin carving contests. I think Halloween Extreme last year had one.
Yeah,
That's kind of a neat thing.
Yeah. I love the pumpkin carving. That's probably one of my favorite parts.
Nice. Nice to get back into that real traditional Halloween thing. It's not all about haunted houses. It's still about pumpkins and witches and black cats and things too. And that's what just makes the Halloween lifestyle so appealing. And of course, I would be remiss if I didn't thank...
Chocolate.
Of course. And it's all about the candy. And I would be remiss if I didn't thank our 4 hosts, including Storm.
My mother still refers to everyone in the industry as my circus people friends. And Ed, you've been to some of the Spooky World Luau parties. When I show her pictures, I can't dispute it.
No,
oh yeah,
God
that's my
knows.
friend spitting fire. Yeah, okay, you're right, Mom.
No
He's
circus
catching
there.
knives in his teeth. Yes, and don't look at that one, Mom. That's not for parental viewing. It's
No, that's not a thong. It's a yeah.
or Slim Jim.
The unknown scare actor.
You know, my dad went to MonsterCon with Badger and myself last year. Now, when he introduces me to his friends, he says, "This is my son. He scares people for a living."
There you go.
The Haunstrumentalist Jerry Vane.
My parents still haven't figured me out, so. Oh,
Have you figured you out?
Therapy?
That's it.
Oh, hell no.
Ironically,
Hell no.
this is the point in Jerry's career with the haunt that he actually wears less spandex than prior jobs.
Yeah, but you should keep
The less
stealing.
saran wrap.
Reynolds wrap, dang it.
Reynolds wrap, sorry. It's all about the
I
sponsorship.
still got the endorsement, jeez.
My name is Drew Badger.
Fresh.
My name is Drew Badger. Currently, as of last count, I have 261 black T-shirts, and I expect that number to go up this year. Once again, you're listening to the Roundtable of Terror here on the Big Scary Show. Stay tuned for the rest of the show, and remember, support your local haunts, and long live Halloween.
Thanks, guys.